Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater's iOS update. This time out, a Bluetooth pedal board for controlling your guitar processing apps on your iPhone or your iPad. Let's get started. One of the challenges facing guitar players who use effects that are running in their iPad or their iPhone is changing presets. You really don't want to have to take your hands off your guitar in order to change the sound that's coming from your iOS device. Today we've got a solution for you. This is the IK Multimedia BlueBoard. The BlueBoard is a Bluetooth pedal board. You step on the switches and messages are sent over Bluetooth, and then there's an app that runs inside your iOS device that converts those messages into MIDI that can be used to control any of your guitar processing effects that you might be using. So let's take a look at how this works. Setup is very simple. Just turn on the BlueBoard. There's a switch right here on the back. We'll set this down. You can see that the status light is now flashing blue. We'll launch the BlueBoard app running in the iPad, and it will tell us that it's discovered an BlueBoard. Select that. We're connected and ready to go. So at this point we're connected to our iPad. When we push the buttons here, messages are sent over Bluetooth. You can see that we're changing the presets that are selected here. So what's happening here is the BlueBoard is transmitting messages over Bluetooth into the iPad. Then the app inside the iPad is translating those into MIDI messages that can be routed to any of your MIDI compatible apps running inside the iOS device. The BlueBoard actually can send a variety of different messages. Just by default, when you push the buttons, it sends a program change message. So here we've got 4 program change messages. Now we also can change banks, so we have up to 128 messages available to us. You can change banks using the front panel, as we're doing here, but another way you can do it is to hold down the A key for 3 seconds. It flashes, and now at this point, we're changing banks. So A scrolls us up, B scrolls us down. And when we do that, we can change presets within that bank. And that's how we have access to 128 total presets. There's a second mode that's also available to us. We can use the BlueBoard to send control change messages over MIDI. Now, control change messages might be used to change a parameter setting. They might be used to turn an individual effect on and off inside of, say, Amplitude. As with program change messages, you can access 128 different control change messages. You scroll through those banks again by holding down the A and the B keys, and then you have 4 different controllers within each of those. And you can also plug in 2 foot pedals into the jacks on the side. When you do that, you could use those as continuous controllers for things like wah-wah or for volume. Using BlueBoard to control presets or control changes within your music apps is very simple. We'll just leave the BlueBoard app running inside the iOS device, and we'll launch our music app. Here we'll open up Amplitude. We'll have that open up. And right away it'll link up, look for the external MIDI control, so we can step on this and select our presets. We can also change banks. We'll go up to the next bank, and we can select a preset there. Very simple, very fast, and handy to use on stage because you don't have to take your hands off your guitar. For today's tech tip, let's talk about a couple of the things I discovered about the BlueBoard as I was setting it up. When I first set the BlueBoard up, Amplitude wasn't seeing it. I couldn't control the preset changes. The situation was, you have to register Amplitude to the same account that the BlueBoard is registered to. If they're not in the same account, they won't be able to talk to each other. And that's a very simple change. I simply contacted IK Multimedia and they moved them into the same account for me. Our second tech tip today is that the BlueBoard communicates with iOS devices and computers using Bluetooth, but it's actually a new version of Bluetooth called Bluetooth LE. This is a low energy version of Bluetooth that doesn't drain the batteries as fast. However, this means that it's not compatible with some devices. For example, the BlueBoard is only compatible with Macintoshes that are 2012 or newer, and it also communicates with iOS devices that are, for example, the iPhone 4, the iPhone 4S or newer, and the iPad 3 or newer. I hope you've enjoyed this installment of Sweetwater's iOS update. Be sure to tune in next time. We'll have more hardware, more apps, and more tech tips on making music with your iOS devices. I'm Mitch Gallagher.